right, hello, you beautiful, wonderful, amazing, spectacular people. You can see here I have a bunch of samples, a bunch of tea samples, bees flying around. Right now it's fall, so the bees, they're a little bit hungry, so they're flying around. They're doing some robbing behavior, those bad girls. And so should be fine. They know me. I don't think they're going to attack me. I don't have any honey. I don't know. Maybe there's some honey tasting samples in here. I don't know. But there might be. So, hey, everybody. I'm going to move that out of the way just so that you don't see my implements of cleaning on the live stream. So what do we got today? We're going to talk about the sale a little bit, the teas that are going to be added to the sale. Again, the sale is on 15% off of basically everything except for the subscription with NOV24. I really should put that more out there. I should be putting it on various different streams and different things. I should be going out there and going onto Reddit and putting it out there and stuff like that. But I'm really busy. I'm really busy packing up the teas, and so I haven't. Although I probably will do it today because this is the time frame. This is the time where all that sort of stuff happens. Right? Everybody's out there. To the people who are celebrating Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving and all of that. To the rest of the world, enjoy the sales. Enjoy the sales because the king of consumerism is having a holiday, and apparently that's the time when it's like the Pope. The Pope is like tells you to do something. If you're a Catholic, if you're in the consumerism realm, then you're like, okay, it's I'm following the lead. Now, what I'm doing right here, I am not looking at these too carefully. This is from my my friend and tea polymath up on Pear Mountain. He is an absolute genius. He's like literally a tea genius. And what he does every year is he sends me 6 bowls. Absolutely. I've actually got another one here that when we find a not winner, I'm going to take out this bad boy, and this will be released on the site very, very soon. This is check that out. Check that out. I'll explain to you what the Chinese characters are. This will be released very, very soon. And but once these get brewing, I can talk about that. Right now I can do a live stream because we didn't have too many orders yesterday, and didn't have too many orders yesterday, so I got them all done earlier in the morning, and I have helper today. It's Friday. I have a helper. I have my I pay him room and board. My indentured worker. I don't know what the right word is. Anyways, my son is helping pack the tea. Right now, he is packing the winter Shanlin Shi. So he's packing the winter Shanlin Shi, and so that will be released on the site. We got the winter Shanlin Shi. Next will be packing will be the Alishan Firefly, and the Alishan Firefly, and then there is this one right here, which is going to be the first CY Chen tea that I've ever had on the site. That's going to be that one, and that'll be released. That's his Wui, and it's not too expensive. It's not too expensive. I mean, it's expensive, but it's not too expensive. But we'll talk about it in a minute. And those 3 teas, I think those are just the 3 teas. Just the 3 teas that will be released this weekend. Now, I'm going to be sampling these. The Jade Mountain Winter is in here somewhere, I'm hoping. I'm hoping that the Jade Mountain Winter is somewhere in these samples. Now, how it goes with this, I wait patiently for it. Yes, well, it'll be released sort of next week, the Jade Mountain Winter. It was later this year. Now, the way it works with this guy up on Jade Mountain, he's fully organic farm. He just does the most amazing stuff. He's always doing something new. And he does things really, really, really well. And what he does is he sends me stuff like this. So this has nothing on it other than 1333. And then this one has nothing on it. Oh no, this one actually has a GABA 27. So that has GABA 27 on it. So there's a GABA. And then you know, so sometimes there's Chinese characters that I got to go ask my wife what that one is. I'm not exactly sure what that one is, because he doesn't work too hard to make them perfect. But you know, and then he doesn't tell me anything about it. Just shows up in the mailbox, right? Just shows up like with this. It's not, there's not even packaging in here. It's just like, you know, all these teas. And then he's like, okay, was it Jintren? Well, it's certainly the top looks like Jintren. You know what? That could be it. The bottom also kind of looks like honey. So I guess I don't know. What are the characters for Jintren? I mean, I know obviously golden, but I don't know the Shren off the top of my head. Anyways, I should study more. But he sends me these teas. He just sends them to me, and it shows up. And then I'm like, okay, I might ask him a couple questions, but I won't tell the whole story. I used to buy it from somebody else. His teas from somebody else, but I just got to the point where I was like, I got to talk to the source. I got to talk to the man. I got to talk to the polymath, this amazing tea person. And so that's what I did. And so now I just buy from him, and he's not a salesman. So he just sends me the teas, and then I'm like, yeah, let's do this, you know, and have fun with it. I just have a lot of fun with it. Now, while we're waiting for these teas to fully unfurl, to open, to become expressive of their essence, and they smell really nice, let's talk about this. Now, I've been waiting a couple years to sort of do this, to bring this out. And I don't know how deeply I'll go into this. I'll probably do a live stream where I'll tell you sort of a little bit more about it. But this is the CY Chen stuff you can see right here. And it's sort of near the end of the season, sort of the wintertime stuff he hasn't roasted yet. And so like this is a springtime tea. This is all he's got left of this tea. And so I just bought all he had left. And I was thinking about how I'm going to sell it. Am I going to take this out and repackage it with all these? No, I'm not. So when I offer these up for sale, I'll probably do samples, right? So I'll cut open some of them and do 10 grams. I might even cut open some and do 25 grams. But I'm going to be selling them just like this. I'm going to be selling them just like this. And maybe I'll put a sticker in the back, like a small sticker that tells you what it is in the back. But I just, you know, this is what the really high quality teas, what they do now is it's all stamps, right? It's all stamps, and they use sort of this. There's no difference between this and what I use, other than the outside is like brown paper. Mine is just like plastic all the way. Well, the inside is sort of that foil stuff. Anyways, the point is the inside is that foil stuff, and the outside is sort of the, you know, feels nice, but it's no different than what I use for packaging in the sense of the essence of it, the inside of it. And I think I'll just be selling these. I'll just put a small sticker on the back because they're beautiful. They're aesthetically pleasing, absolutely beautiful. And I should, you know, do something like that. But the problem is I want to put so much information on the packages that I send out that I can't really use this style. Although I could experiment. So what's on this? There's Huaxin Tren and Wui Oolong, and then it tells you the season. And they put the season in red. So there's the spring in the season. And it's beautiful. Beautiful packaging. That is not my strength. I am not good with the packaging. Unfortunately, everybody's got their strengths and weaknesses. Mine are in sort of finding the good teas and that type of stuff. My strength is definitely not in sort of packaging or aesthetics. like I cheat completely, right? Like you know the usual guys, the tea guys, they always go on they always have this room, this beautiful room where they've got things in the background and things like that. I'm like, no, I can't do that. I got no aesthetic sense. I'll just do it on my back porch. Right? That's the way I deal with the aesthetics of things. But why don't we get into the teas and why don't we take a look? Now, I'm packing, you know, I got in, I sampled the Phoenix Valley wintertime pick, and I was amazed at how much the leaves don't look like wintertime leaves. They look like fall time or even springtime leaves. Really interesting this year for sort of that area. And this is sort of in the Shanlinchi, Nantoe type of, anyways, down that way. Little, I mean, obviously further south. And this is the same. It's sort of leggy. Usually in wintertime, it's not so leggy, but this year's leggy. Why was it leggy? Because warm and a ton of rain. A ton of rain. I like your labels. Nothing is hidden or obfuscated. Yes, well, I try hard with that. The information is very convenient and great to have, though. I'm sure it's well appreciated. Well, that's the thing, right? That's the thing, you know. So I'm not going to change it. I'm not going to change it. Maybe for the really expensive stuff, right? The stuff that's like, you know, $1 a gram, and the only person who's ever going to buy it is somebody who's already going to know how to brew it. then maybe I'll, you know how bad my handwriting is, right? So maybe I'll do some scrawls and make a stamp, you know, like thanks for your order, and stamp it on that. That looks like calligraphy. That I could pull that off stylistically. Okay, so here's the first one, and the weather was not particularly good. It's a little bit wet. The clarity of the liqueur is okay. The aftertaste is nice. I think this is going on the fast pass pile. The fast pass pile. I'll add a little bit more hot water to it and take a sip afterwards, but I don't think that's going to be the wintertime Jade. That is not going to be the wintertime Jade, actually. I know that for a fact. So when we're going through these teas, things like this, got to remember a couple things. One of the things you remember is when I'm doing this, I'm doing a quick fast pass. The ones that are maybe closer, I'm going to put them aside. The ones that I know I'm just not going to do, I throw them out. Sorry. One of the girls is just crawling over my foot there. And so I'm also a big fan of this garden. I know the garden very, very well. I've bought teas from here for many, many years. I know a lot about the different teas and the different versions of the teas that are in front of me. And so when I'm dismissive of them or I say, no, that's not the one, I'm definitely not saying it tastes horrible. Like I'm not saying that this is a bad, you know, a bad tea or something like that. That's not what I'm saying at all. But I do know that I've got, you know, lots of more options, and that's probably not the one I'm going to pick. So that one's a little softer, a little closer to what I might want. Now, what am I looking for when I'm looking for the teas right now? I'm looking for the wintertime pick. And I'm looking for a tea out of all the options, obviously the best one. But I'm also looking for a tea that is going to be like, sort of hits the wintertime taste points the way it should hit the wintertime taste points. Right? If you're getting a tea and it's like a springtime tea, but it doesn't taste like springtime tea, it's not all that good. Hopefully that's not too loud. My neighbor's hitting things loudly. Not quite as good as the music that we usually have, but something always happens with the live stream, right? They're not flying around today. Ooh, this is a pretty good one. Let's see what the aftertaste does with this one. So this one is this one. This is 10-1-6. I don't even know what that means, 10-1-6. But This is the Chin Chin Oolong cultivar. Let's see here. Yeah, Chin Chin Oolong cultivar. And this is pretty wintry. Not bad. I'm going to save the GABA for last. Now, one of the things that makes me kind of sad about drinking these teas is this is probably one of, if not the only place that I get a large amount of tea that I've never actually gone and visited. And the reason I haven't actually gone and visited this area, well, actually, I've been to that area a long time ago, but this particular garden is because it's so far away. Like, it's so far away. So here's Taiwan, right? So I'm over here in Hualien. It's right sort of here. And as the crow flies, it's like a couple hundred kilometers. It's probably less than 300 kilometers as the crow flies. But I either have to go all the way down here and then up into the mountains, or all the way up here and up into the mountains. And up here is where most of the tea is, up in the north of Taiwan. So I usually go up here, and mess around and go here and do these things like that. And then I just don't make it all the way down here because it's an extra like 2 hours driving. Now, I would love to go and visit this master. He is an absolute master. He's an absolutely amazing. I call him a tea polymath because he creates all of these amazing teas. So many amazing teas. But I've never actually been able to go and visit his spot. And it does. It's like makes me sad. I'm like, I really should go and visit. Because he does create some of absolutely the best teas. Sorry, there's another bee on my foot here. You can see her here. So we're in the wintertime, and so the girls in the wintertime, they're a little bit lethargic. They're not quite as, like for her, I do not see, she's just lethargic. So I'm going to put her back on the hive, and hopefully she's just, she just needs something to eat. Anyways, fall time, if you love bees, is just brutal. It's brutal. I mean, it's kind of funny too, because they kill all the boys. Like, they just kick all the boys out, and the boys are down there like, come on, I'm useful. My phallus is useful. And they're like, not in the winter, boys, die. And then they really have no point. But a lot of bees are dying and they get sick because it's the fall time. Anyways, is she thirsty? Well, the hives are right here. So I guess maybe my guess is, I don't know. Maybe I got one hive that's got dysentery. So maybe she's got the bee runs. But I'm pretty sure they're not too interested in this. Although, one time, maybe in the wintertime, maybe I should take them down to see my buddies in Reishui and see if I can do a bee tea flower honey, because I could pull that off. Probably maybe February, something like that. I do tea flower honey, although it wouldn't taste all that special. Brave, come on, this is my family. These are my girls, right? They're not gonna. I mean, sometimes they sting me, but I love bees, and bees know it. It's funny because I think I've talked about this before, but when I actually go out into like the wilderness, sometimes bees will come by and they'll bother you, and the bees will always come to me, and then they'll go on my hand, and then they'll lick my hand. And I've been stung by so many bees that they're like, oh, you're family, and then they'll lick the salt off my hand or whatever it is, and then they'll fly away. But remember, bees do not want to sting you. They do not. And if you do not have fast movements, they won't sting you either. Maybe just water. I had a woozy bee at a local park and gave her water, and she perked up. Absolutely. It might be a possibility, but that's usually if they fly off. Here, I'll there's a touch of water there, and it'll cool down by the time she gets to it. Anyways, we'll see. We'll see what happens. She's okay. You know, anyways, it's let's talk about the tea. This, my guess is yeah. So this is the A3241120 strange line. That's not a Chinese character. And I'm pretty sure this is the Four Seasons. So I'm pretty sure this is the Four Seasons. The Four Seasons Oolong. Yeah, probably the Four Seasons. Four Seasons Oolong have longer, narrower leaves. So this is probably the Four Seasons. And I think last year, was it the spring? Maybe it was a springtime pick. There was the High Mountain Four Seasons. And the High Mountain Four Seasons, you know, there's a couple 100 grams left. I'm sure I should put it on sale because it's probably past its prime. But it was so much fun in the springtime. This is too wet. In general, this is too wet. So I'm going to add some more hot water to it, see what happens. But it doesn't have that real blast that I'm really, really looking for when I'm looking for High Mountain Four Seasons oolongs. Yeah, I think that's the Four Seasons. And I have to say, I think that's the Four Seasons, which probably means it's probably not the best Four Seasons, unfortunately. But from drinking these teas, you know, every area had a different sort of wintertime season. And from drinking these teas, I can tell this is not the best wintertime season that Jade Mountain has ever had. It's just not. It's just not. By looking also at the stems here, right? So this is not. That's not a wintertime stem. Wintertime stem should not look like this. So here, this to me, like the size of it, how it looks, that is more like this is more like a springtime stem than it is. Usually the wintertime stems are about this big, and then they've got the stuff at the top, which is very, very small. But this looks like it got a bunch of water right at the wrong time, so it's much, much bigger, much, much longer. And then you've got the thing that comes up there, which is very wintertimey. So it looks like, unfortunately, that it wasn't sort of the best. Now, again, I'm rating this, whether it's good or bad, I'm rating it on, you know, a very, very, very high standard. Very, very high standard. If you are coming in trying these for the first time, you're not going to be like, wow, it's not as good as blah, blah. They're all decent, clean, strong tasting teas, right? They're not bad. It was Jinchuan. It was. So there you go. So somebody who is much more learned in the art of Chinese characters than I am. This is a really interesting and powerful Jinchuan, which I probably will not buy, not because it's not good, but because the Alishan Firefly Milk Oolong is like the best there is. The best there is. But this is, you know, really good. This is really good. Milky, creamy, all that good stuff coming through. Really nice aftertaste. But there's the fruit flavor, but it's missing the vanilla. It's missing the vanilla. So there is in the Alishan Firefly Milk Oolong, there's that vanilla note that sort of flows around, sort of not the upfront, not in the aftertaste, but in between the mid mouth and the aftertaste. There's this little, like, you know, this little bit of vanilla that flops up and floats around in that space when you drink that tea. And this doesn't have that, but it's a great ginger. It's a great ginger. Ginger, of course, being milk oolong, for those that do not know. Okay, let's do the GABA quick. I still got a bunch of Jade Mountain GABA from the spring. My guess is this is not going to blow my socks off, but let's try it out. It's actually really good. But I feel bad. I wish there was a better wintertime pick in this area. It's not quite what I want. It's good, but I've still got some left from the spring. The spring one's really good. The spring one is really good. Okay, so we're down to 2. And if I remember correctly, this one's quite good. And this one is also quite good. But I'm probably going to go with this. But we're just going to have to see. Okay, down to the brass tacks. Down to the, let's see. Not that one. So I need a palette cleanser here. We're going to see which one is going to be the Jade wintertime pick. Now, I do not need to buy. Was it 10, 6? Let's see. There's 2. There's the 10, 1016. And I think this one's the 3015. I don't know. Should I be doing this? Well, I want that guy to be successful. I want people to buy his tea. And so if you are going to be hardcore enough to go on the internet to find where that guy is, there's only like one good guy on Jade Mountain who does organic certified teas. If you're going to do that and you're going to buy his tea, go for it, right? Do it, please, because I the guy is amazing. I really, really like him. These are the 2 teas that I'm going for right now. And, I'm not going to buy it all because what I was going to say was right now, I'm going to do that palette cleanser. What I was going to say is I don't need to buy this tea. I have enough wintertime teas at the moment. There was somebody who sent me an email because they wanted sort of what the fall time tea was like, that flavor profile. And we ran out of fall Pear Mountain, and I listed some teas. He's like, "Are you sure it's going to be like this?" I'm like, "They're all kind of similar." I mean, it's kind of true. They're all kind of similar, right? But so I got enough of those teas. I don't really need to do it. But if there's somebody who I know is an amazing person who does the right thing, who creates teas, I'm buying their tea every season. Even if it's not the best of the best of the best. It's not like it's bad. And I can't just say, okay, I'm not buying it this year, right? I mean, that's just horrible. That's just, the weather was not his fault. He did an amazing job creating these teas. It wasn't about the weather. It wasn't about him or his skill. It was about the weather. Now, there's exceptions to that. If it's really, really terrible, if it was really, really terrible, I can't do it. But in this situation, I'm definitely going to get a Jade Mountain wintertime oolong. I'm going to do it. It's just going to happen, right? I'm not going to buy that much, but I'm going to buy it to support them, to support what they're doing, always. No idea what it means. I was just remembering the one that stuck out. Yes, well, I have no idea what it means either. No idea. None. Just a couple times where I'm like, I'll send him a picture and and I'll be like, is this the gin trend? And he'd be like, yeah, of course it is. What do you mean? Didn't you read the number? I'm like, dude, I don't know what the number means. But if you want to go and find him and buy some of his teas, those are the 2 that we've narrowed it down to. Decent, nice. Let's see what the aftertaste does with this one. Yep. A good expression of that tea. There we go. Okay, let's go to the other one here. And then we're going to get into some CY Chin stuff. So this is the other one. This is the other one that was a decent expression of the essence of what it means to be a Jade Mountain wintertime tea. And it fell off a little bit after sitting there for a while. So, looks like Our lucky number is, I don't know if you can see that, he actually scraped out 1017. It's 1016. Our lucky number of the day is 1016. That is our lucky number of the day. And so 1016 will be the Pear Mountain Winter Time, or sorry, not Pear Mountain, Jade Mountain Winter. Now, let's get into the extremely aesthetically pleasing tea that is this. Now, I'm just going to brew it this way. I'm not going to brew it in a fancy way. It deserves this. It deserves this. Absolutely, it deserves this. It deserves it. But I'm just going to sort of show you the flavor profile so you guys know what you're getting when you get it. Now, what I'm going to do, though, so I'm going to stand up here for a second, is I'm going to go in here. I'm going to turn on this. So I'm going to make sure the water's boiling. Yeah, and make sure the water's boiling for this here. And because this deserves some boiling water. And we're going to try this out. If a tea isn't the best, it can always be used for milk tea. At least the ones I've tried near me have so much sugar that I want to ask the shops to add more tea to the sugar soup. Yes, well. Now, in our household, my wife loves milk tea. And, and she loves, the typical milk tea. And I just harangued and hemmed and hawed and like, please don't eat that chemical slop. Don't drink it. I'll give you whatever you want. What tea do you want? And so she has been working just to make me happy. Although obviously when I'm not around, she'll still go out and get the other stuff. She's trapped in the house for whatever reason. And that's how you have a healthy marriage, by the way. She will actually use Ruby 18. And yesterday she made just the most amazing, it's like Taiwanese chai. You boil the hell out of a Ruby 18. Like you just boil the hell out of it for a very, very, very long time. And then you add milk and actually, it sounds so snobby. But anyways, we've got a lot of, we bought some maple syrup. So we use milk and maple syrup. And it's got this just the most amazing flavor to it. Like it's just amazing, right? It's just so good. And anyways, if you got some extra tea, you can make milk tea out of it. This is good. This is good stuff. I'm going to sort of give you the flavor profile and what's the story behind this. So Mr. Chen, he's got 2 gardens. Well, actually, I think he's up to like 5 gardens actually right now. Anyways, it's complicated. It's complicated because he's really, really good at what he does. And because he's really, really good at what he does, representing, okay, of course, right? Of course. This is the volunteer firefighters on Manitoulin Island. And if you've ever been to sort of one of these rural areas in Canada, the volunteer firefighters are they're the real deal. Anyways, I didn't actually buy it. It was the year before. I was there in the summertime, but it was the year before they bought it. But I was like, somebody gave it to me and I was like, absolutely. Oh yeah. So anyways, this is a newer garden. So this is a Taiwanese Wu Yi, and the Taiwanese Wu Yi is very similar to the Tie Guanyin. It's very similar to the Tie Guanyin, and he's been doing a really, really, really good job with this garden, making it like the tea trees are not that old. I think they're less than 5 years old, but he's creating some really amazing teas from this garden. And so this tea is not going to be that expensive. It's not as expensive as his other teas. Yep. It's okay. Not the best of the best of the best, but we'll get some. And it's from the springtime, so it's really good. His wintertime teas, I've sampled some of them. He hasn't really roasted them yet. And everything about this tea and his teas, he takes so much care. And I wouldn't say that's extraordinarily rare, but I would say it's not all that common. He treats his teas and he treats, you know, he treats these things with respect, and he deserves the respect because he's one hell of a roaster. And I don't really know how he got so famous in the West. And does anybody know the backstory about why he got so famous in the West, in Western tea circles? Anyway, somebody tried his teas and talked it up, but I mean, he, as charcoal roasters go, he's really is one of the best. And I didn't really go full on into his teas for a lot of different reasons, but one of them was I really wasn't good enough yet to go full on into his teas. I needed to sample more, get better at what I did, and also build up a clientele of people who would appreciate it. And so what I've done with his teas is I sampled a bunch of them. I picked out a couple, and next spring I'll reserve some of the 100-year-old tea trees, and I'll reserve some of his teas. And so now each season, each year, we'll be able to have his stuff. And I'm not going to get a huge amount. I'm not going to buy all of his stuff, but I'll get enough that people will be able to drink what they want. And one of the most important things about really good charcoal roasting is when you first drink the tea, the main flavor is not the charcoal roast. When you first drink the tea, the main flavor is not the charcoal roast. It's not like you're, sucking on a piece of charcoal. Now, there's exceptions to that. Say for example, the Mutsa Tie Guanyin stuff that's really, really, really heavily roasted. At the upfront, you do feel that. But the really, really, really good stuff, you get it on the nose, right? The really good charcoal roasted stuff, you smell it and you're like, oh, that's charcoal roasted. But when you drink it, you're not getting that smash of smoky flavor, right? In general. Again, there's exceptions to that rule, of course. And this is a tea that is, it's the wui. Now, what is the wui? How deep to go down that rabbit hole? My guess is around 30 years ago or even earlier, there was somebody went to wui China, they cut some stuff, they brought it back, and then everybody used that wui. Now, that wui is Taiwanese wui. It's not like Chinese wui. They make it in different ways, all that stuff, blah, 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 blah. The point is that this is not wui in the context of what a Chinese wui would be. This is 100% a Taiwanese wui cultivar. And a Taiwanese wui cultivar, what makes it special is way in the back end, if it's done well, you get a really nice floral or sometimes a really nice fruit. Right? So there's the one, that very, very affordable electric roasted heavy roast. What is that? What do I call it? Oh, red fruit roast wui, which is from Elan. Really sort of heavy electric roast. The fruit comes in. But when it's light, that wui throws out like this really interesting green floral, like a green floral. Boy, they're really noisy. They're not playing music. They're just having a party behind me. Hopefully it's not too loud. I don't think it's too loud. So right off the bat, as you're doing this, and when you're getting these higher quality teas, even when I'm brewing it like this, every single time I take out the tea, it's like there's a different flavor coming through. The first one, sort of soft, a little bit bready, a little bit starchy almost, sort of warming. You drink it and your body just goes warming out because it's got the charcoal roast. But it's not pushing out too many flavors. It's not doing it too fast. And the second steep, so I take out a little bit more, you're starting to get sort of the really beautiful flavors and the really beautiful things that are coming through. And girls, here's another one. And I'm starting to get the real sort of the beauty of this tea. And it'll take a while, right? It takes a while for this stuff to open up and for all of those really complex flavors to sort of come out. He also had a website, and his teas gained some traction at some point, along with some Yixing tea where he was selling. Oh, okay, that makes a little bit more sense. Yeah, I think it was that brand. And he still has a website, and he has 2 prices. I shouldn't say this, but anyways, I'm not gonna say it. Somebody sent a request to be in the video. I don't know who you are. I haven't met you before. If you write why you want to join in, let me know. I guess we could try it. We tried that out many years ago, and usually it didn't work out too well. I remember one time there was a random Vietnamese bubble shop that popped in. I was like, okay, why not? Dude, I was like, hi, and they're like, what? it was funny. But if you have something you want to talk about, then throw it in the chat, and I don't know, maybe we can talk about it. Off topic, but I found that charcoal tends to dominate the flavor of cold brewed charcoal roasted teas. I might need to try different spring waters to see if water chemistry has much of an impact. That's a really good one. And you probably know more about it than I do. We've been emailing. Yeah, let me know what your question is. And when you have the darker roasts, I find that the colds, I would say this is what you should do if you really want to get it. Do like a 1 minute hot roast and either drink that or throw it away, and then throw the already used leaves into the cold brew. And I bet you that would create something a lot better than the sort of the right away thing. There is like what's the best way to describe it? There is almost like a shine that comes off of really, really high quality roasted charcoal, especially charcoal roasted teas. And let's see if this has it. It's like oh yeah, it does for sure. And it's like a powder, a bright powder that's like on the outside of the heavily or expertly roasted charcoal teas. And what it actually is the caffeine starting to come out. And when you roast the teas, the caffeine is more like also when you brew the teas, but it starts to come out and it puts like a bright powder on the outside. And this does actually have it. And it puts this bright sort of powder over the teas. And so that means that the first steep, oftentimes, especially if it's really heavily charcoal roasted, the first steep, you're getting a blast. Like you're getting a blast of caffeine, strong flavors. It's almost like an ashy sort of ness to it, but it's not. And so with the cold brew, that's going to sort of be the dominant flavor when you're looking at it, right? That's going to be sort of the dominant flavor when you're looking at it. Girls, I'll give you some sugar water later, okay? I promise. But I promise you will find nothing but salt on my flower-looking hat. So maybe even 15 seconds, 30 seconds. Like just open up the leaves a little bit, then throw it in the cold water. What is your thoughts on the pre-rinse? The pre-rinse, that is a great question. And the answer to that always is it depends. If you're rinsing a stanky old show pour, yeah, throw that away. If you're getting an old tea cake that you have no idea where it was, and it tastes like earth mixed with fruit after the 15th steep, throw that away. If you're getting a tea that is sort of agrochemical free, that is nice, that is high mountain oolong. So now the real fruit flavor is blasting out of this right now after the third steep. If you are doing one of those types of teas, like if somebody says to you, oh, I throw away the rinse to get rid of the pesticides, run away from that person, because they either lying to you or not very smart. Pesticides don't work that way, especially with sort of ball rolled teas. So it all depends. Also, and this is really, 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 really important, if you are presenting teas, if you are going like this and doing a show or something like that, rinse the tea 5-10 seconds, rinse it out, do the whole, like, put it through the different plates, things like that, hold out the gaiwan, let everybody smell the gaiwan, rinse that sucker. No matter what tea it is, do it, because it's fun and it's beautiful, and you rinse it for 5 seconds. Wow, that's amazing. If you're at home and the tea is clean, don't bother, especially Taiwanese teas, right? Especially Taiwanese teas. So what do I think about the pre-rinse? Basically that. What's your context? Where are you? What are you doing? All that different type of stuff. Are you brewing mindfully, or are you sitting at your desk? Right? Are you brewing mindfully, or are you sitting at your desk? If you're sitting at your desk, just get one of those pitchers, right? Throw the tea in. Again, if you know it's clean, add hot water to it and then slowly drink it and do the grandpa style thing, right? If you're presenting, rinse that sucker, pass it around, make sure everybody really gets that beautiful blast of flavor coming out and smell. So it's situational and tea based as well. Like I've got so many teas coming in. I haven't done a live stream with the show pour that I bought at the tea show. I haven't done that live stream yet. But that one I'll rinse. It's, from 1980, early 1980s show. And it's a beautiful tea, but you got to rinse that bad boy. Makes a lot of sense. And doing the rinse would help me drink it at night. I don't know. I can't drink tea after basically right now. So if you're able to actually drink tea and still go to sleep, you either have a very exhausting lifestyle, or your caffeine tolerance is, you might want to get it checked out. No, I'm joking. Everybody's different. Everybody's different when it comes to caffeine, and especially with tea, the caffeine thing. But if you want to cold brew charcoal roasted teas, I definitely suggest doing a rinse, even 15 to 30 seconds with boiling water would be quite good. So now that I've done sort of a couple steeps with this, the wooey floral is starting to come out the back end. That's what I thought. I drink pour and rinse, you're saying, is what I think. Yes, yeah. With pour, I would say rinse. If you've got like a super young pour that's not pressed into a cake, you might be able to get away without doing it. But in general, with pours, I would definitely say rinse them. I would definitely say rinse them. But if you know it's clean, it's not a firm and fast rule. Certainly, I don't think it affects the essence of the tea too much, whether or not you rinse it or not. Again, unless you're doing like a real deep dive into that type of stuff. Thank you, Uncle Matty, for the new Ruby Red that's on its way. I drink matcha every day, and that is some major caffeine. Well, I'm not a matcha drinker, but I bet you that Ruby, if you brew it strong, might give that matcha a morning boost. But there you go, Uncle Matty. No, I guess I've been called Uncle before. In Chinese, right? You use the terms as like, even if someone's not your uncle, you would say uncle. So one time I got called like old Uncle Grandpa. That I didn't enjoy. I didn't really care too much, which is Abe. But I've been called Uncle Susu many times. Many times. But like fresh green and Taiwanese oolong tea, I find you don't need it. Yes, exactly. But it also depends on the tea, right? It also depends on the tea and what experience you want out of it. So for example, a Taiwanese green or like a green tea, if you're not a big fan of the sharp vegetal, if you give it a quick 5-10 second rinse, you'll get a lot of the sharper flavors out of it just by doing that quick rinse, depending on the temperature of water that you use and the vessel and all that type of stuff. Anyways, as these things go, what I always say is, what I say is, if you're here, watching some random bearded Canadian guy drinking tea, talking to his phone, chances are you'll be able to figure it out. Chances are you'll be able to figure it out to your liking. And if you want, you want to ask questions so you can get sort of the mirror back and for your validation and things like that, go for it. But you probably know just as much as I do about stuff like that. We're all in the top 0.00001%. The universal uncle to all. I would disagree with that. Culturally, I don't know whether I'd want to be the universal uncle. Universal uncles, you also have to pay the bills for things. I can offer advice, though. Definitely, I can offer advice. Yeah, the universal uncle type in especially in sort of Han Chinese cultures pays a lot of bills. A lot of banquets. I don't know whether I want to do that, but I can offer advice. We got uncle advice. Yeah, I can go for that. You're my new man. I'm going anywhere else from now on. That's not the right way to look at tea. When you're looking at Taiwanese tea, I got you covered. Right? I get toe to toe. I would definitely say I'm one of the best tea vendors for Taiwanese tea. But it's only Taiwanese tea, right? I know nothing about Chinese tea, nothing about Japanese tea, nothing about Korean tea, nothing about Kenyan tea, nothing about Malaysian. I know nothing. Indian tea, come on. Nothing. I know nothing. So, if you want to talk about Taiwanese tea, got you covered. But Taiwanese tea is like this big, right? The tea world is huge. But it's just so good, and it keeps going pretty far. It's quite complex, right? So it's going to give you some upfront flavors that are very different than the back end flavors. As you keep brewing this tea, it's going to give you interesting sort of stuff that goes along with it as we go through, and it'll be up on the site tomorrow. So I'm going to send out an email. The winter Firefly Alishan, the winter Phoenix Valley, and this tea, they will all be up on the site. I'm going to send out that email sort of tomorrow. And then you'll have still 48 hours if you want to get in another order. Maybe you'll get lots of red envelopes. Dude, that's not the way it works. That is not the way it works. If you're above 80, yeah, you get the red envelopes, I guess, from your family or whatever. But I mean, my age, like I don't really feel like it, but I'm the Laoban, right? I have, this is my company. I'm the boss of the company, right? Those, my kids are not working. Those red envelopes are one way at this point in my life, right? One way. Somebody calls me a susu and I'm like, thanks. I'm like, I got to be careful. No. That's not the way it works at this point. How's your business going? How's that? Like, no. That's not what's happening. But I can definitely offer advice as one of many places you can go for advice. Hey man, how's it going? Hope you're doing absolutely wonderfully well. I only drink black tea in the winter, and it's Ruby Red 18. I drink Japanese and sencha most of the time. Well, there you go. And that's a really, really good way to do it. Forgive me. I'm not going to try to say that because I'm going to say it the wrong way, and that's embarrassing on a live stream. Guy Kuro. Anyways, the that's it's a good way to do it. It really is. It's funny because for me, I'll often stock the roasted teas and then I'll have them in stock. And be like, nobody's buying that. Nobody's buying that. And then like October 1st, I'm out of stock because everybody bought them all at the exact same time, all on the same day. Everybody buys all the roasted teas. But that's where you are when you are at this level of tea nerdness, right? When you guys are at this level of tea nerdness, when you are the top, that Pareto distribution of tea nerds up at the very top, in the top corner quadrant up there somewhere, then you're changing your tea during the seasons. And you're changing the tea, not so much based on what you like drinking, because chances are you've got really high quality tea. You're doing it because that's what your body says to drink. And listen to your body. Listen to your body. Like right now, I'm really enjoying this. It's beautiful. That's all I'm going to buy. I know how polluted China is. So I'm only getting Taiwan oolong and be happy about it because I know Taiwan cares about the land and products. Well, China's big. There are clean Chinese teas. And it's a tough one, right? Because China is so big that the really horror stories are the ones that make the press. And if Taiwan was as big as China, there'd be horror stories here too. But I would say in general, it's easier to get cleaner tea in Taiwan than it is in China. But Taiwanese tea is more expensive pound for pound than China. You're the man on the ground. I am the man on the ground for sure. Are you going to start carrying teacups and wood fire teapots again? How about some egg or wood incense? my area of expertise is this big, and you're asking me to do all this. And maybe someday, maybe if I get partners ever, which is, I probably won't do that. But yeah, maybe incense, probably not. But my area of expertise is not that. I can't do it. I just can't do it. I care too much about the stuff that I offer and consume myself and have other people consume. I just care too much about it. And so, come on, girls. I might be able to get in the wood-fired pots, but incense and things like that, probably not. Probably not. I admit to drinking roasted teas year-round, but in my defense, I spend several hours a day in a commercial freezer while wearing only a fleece. Well, that's it, right? And chances are you're listening to your body. Your body's like, I need some charcoal roasted goodness after I just did that. And it also sounds like you're probably in an air-conditioned place to begin with, right? But in the summertime anyways. But listen to your body. And drinking charcoal roasted teas in that situation probably helps you out a lot. It probably does. Probably helps you out a lot. But yeah, I'll probably stay in my lane more than I won't. I'm not too interested in having a huge organization of things. I bet you can spell some porcelain competition brewware. It's easier than using a Gaiwan. Absolutely, I could. The problem is that other people do it cheaper, and why bother? Why bother? Seriously. If you want sort of competition teaware, porcelain stuff, there's other places. It's not. I'm not the guy. I'm happy in my lane. My lane is extremely comfortable. My lane helps me sleep at night because I know I'm I'm not doing anything wrong to the world by staying in my lane. And so that's okay. I like the tea tray you have. Yes, well, I bought this at the local supermarket, and I'm sure you can find this online too at some of the other guys' places. Not too expensive. I probably should get a newer tea tray. It's kind of small when I do these big ones. Grocery store bakery manager. So I bounce between a freezer and standing in front of ovens. All tea is good. Well, there you go. I guess it just depends on the busy day. True. In your lane is solid. Yes. Yes. Well, I'm happily in my lane. And I'm also happy to send people off to other people's lanes. If they need to have something in that lane, go for it, right? Go to those other lanes. Yeah. I'm good. We did an hour. I am going to go and eat some lunch, finish up sort of packing tea and things like this. So somebody just bought some tea. Thank you very much. That's still so weird. I'm in my 40s, and isn't that what young people do? Aren't I supposed to like set off fireworks before people send me money online doing live streams? But anyways, I have to go and have some lunch. Tea prices are great. Tea isn't a grifter like... I can't say those names, nor do I endorse your statement. but I gotta go. I gotta go. Yes, I do not have a Chinese name that I use in space of my English name. Let's put it that way. And I probably have a lot more tea friends than a lot of other places. Which, like, this one is a new tea friend. He's an awesome guy. I really enjoy his tea. I really enjoy spending time with him. Anyways, I got to go. Have an absolutely wonderful morning, evening, night, wherever you are. Sleep well. Have a great day tomorrow, or the great day for the rest of the day. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you the next live stream.